What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Bryce, and today I'm going to read in chapter 19 of the Parker Inheritance. Let's begin. Chapter 19. Hey, Candace, Brenda's mother said as she opened the door on Monday morning. She held a cup of steaming coffee. That makes no sense. Streaming. How can a coffee stream? Brandon, in the backyard with that basketball, why don't you go out there? Why don't you go on out there? And feel free to stick around for dinner tonight. No point in y'all cooking when we have plenty of free food. Plenty of food here. Meaning food is free. Because it's at your house. We having spaghetti. Candace slipped off her backpack and walked through the kitchen to the back door. Brandon stood a few feet away from a basketball goal, the ball spinning in his hand. He squared himself up, raised his arms, and took a shot. The ball arched toward the hoop, rotating into space before swooshing through the rim. All net. Nice shot, Candace said. Brandon's head whipped around. Oh, hey. He looked at his watch. Sorry, lost track of time. It's okay, Candace said. You can keep practicing if you want. I'll just take a few more shots, he said as he chased down the ball. It had come to a stop in the tall grass. It's kind of hard to dribble back here, so I mainly work on my shooting, trying to up my three-point percentage. I feel that. He picked up the ball, then moved even farther away from the rim. He banked the basketball off the backboard and into the net. The bank is open. It wasn't until 5 shots later that Brandon missed his first bucket. Brandon was good, way better than he expected him to be. Even after learning he used to play on a team with Milo, she felt a little guilty about this new revelation. Brandon was so small and so bookish. She had just assumed he wasn't very athletic. Brandon took a final shot, then lobbed the ball toward Candace. Want to try? Candace straightened her stance like she learned in a gym class, then launched the basketball at the goal. Air ball. I'm better with puzzles, she told Brandon as she chased the rolling ball. They returned to the computer room a few minutes later. Tori found a few more things. I can't read today. A few more things she thought you liked, Brandon said, nodding toward the small plastic bag on the bed. The bag was tied tight, but Candace was able to pull it open enough to peek inside. Some of the clothes still have tags on them. Tori never met a sale she didn't like. He sat down at the desk. So what's the next step? The old church building? We need to call Deacon Draper to set up a time in a second. Candace riffled through her backpack until she found her hand-drawn calendar. This is for you, she said. It's Milo's weekly schedule. Brandon took the paper. What? How? That's why I was asking his mom so many questions yesterday. I was trying to figure out his schedule. It had reminded Candace of Sudoku, a puzzle game her grandmother had first introduced her to. But instead of completing a number grid, she was trying to fill in dates, times, and locations. It wasn't easy, especially with her mom's phone as the only way to get on the internet, but she was eventually able to piece together not only when Milo had practices, games, and meetings, but also where they were. Based on the city website, Milo has swimming lessons twice a week. The closest pool is pretty far away, so I bet someone drives him and brings him back. That's why that's colored in green. Basketball practices are in red. The Y is a lot closer, so he probably bikes there. I bet that's where he was coming from the other day. She shrugged. I had to take a guess on Boy Scouts and choir practice based on an old church calendar I found online. It's not perfect, but I figured it was my way for making up for last Friday. What are you talking about? You know how you didn't want to bike to the school and how you wanted to get something to eat afterward? It was obvious you didn't want to be riding around, she said. I guess I just wasn't paying attention. I could have been more honest, Brandon said, and to be fair, avoiding Milo wasn't the only reason I wanted to go to Sam's. Then why? Candace waited, but Brandon didn't speak. She nudged his chair with her foot, causing it to swivel. Why? She asked again. I just wanted to treat you to lunch. She glanced at the bag of clothes Tori had left for her. Then she thought about his mom's dinner invitation. Are you being nice to me because you think we're poor? You guys don't think we can afford a meal? Not exactly. And these clothes, did you make Tori get them for me? I can't make Tori do anything. I don't want your charity, Brandon. That's not why I'm being nice. He made a face. Okay, that's the only reason why I'm being nice. I also wanted to hang out more. This summer kinda sucked before you got here. She flexed her knee, watching the hole in her jeans expand. We're not poor. I know. But we're not rich either. Writers don't make a lot of money, and Dad is doing really well at his job, but things only go so far. She took a peek at Brandon. His face was blank. Not inviting, but not condemning either. You know we're selling our house in Atlanta, he nodded. My mom told me. Are you selling the house here? I don't think so, Candace said. Mom's already got another renter lined up for the fall. That would bring in more money, but not enough to stop her from selling my house back home. So that's why you want to find Parker's money, Brandon asked. To save the house? Candace nodded. I'd share whatever I found with you, of course. 50-50. It's okay, Brandon said. The first priority is to buy the house. We'll figure out how to split the rest afterward. Candace crossed her arms and pinched her sides. She hated saying all this stuff out loud. It made it more real. At least now I know why you want to find the money so badly, he said. I would hate to move after living in a place for so long. She almost corrected him. It was only about the money. It wasn't only about the money. It was about her grandmother as well. About fixing her legacy. But there was no way Candace could say that out loud right then. How long have you lived here again? She asked. About 3 years. We would visit during the summer, but we moved for good when Mom got her job at the tech college. I'm still trying to get used to this place, he smiled. Though those chili dogs from Sam's are really the best. Really are the best. Oh, okay. We'll get your fancy hot dogs after we do some more investigating, but I'll pay for my own. Deal. And I'll talk to Tori about the clothes. I think my mom believes y'all are worse off than you really are. Candace chewed on the inside of her mouth. Maybe their finances were worse than she realized. So, Deacon Draper, Brandon asked. I already called him this morning before I came over. He said he found some old boxes of photos that he could bring over. Candace pulled the yearbook from her bag, then handed Brandon another sheet of paper. And that's a list of all the players and coaches from the tennis team photo in the yearbook. The same photo that was in the glass case at the memorial. None of the guys are named James Parker, but maybe there's a connection. Brandon stared at the paper, but didn't move. What is it? Candace finally asked. It's just, what does all this have to do with Siobhan? Brandon asked. The letter says she's the key, not James Parker. Yeah, she's the key, Siobhan. He's probably keeping himself anonymous because he doesn't want the focus to be on him. Trust me, Brandon, this is important. The more information we have about him, the better. Plus, some of these guys might lead to more information about Siobhan too. Brandon took a deep breath, then nodded. They began their internet search, moving down the list by name by name. They were able to find information on most of them. About half had passed away, and as far as they could tell, none of them still lived in Lambert. Back to the athletic director, Adam Douglas. Is there any way he could be James Parker? Is there any way he could be James Parker? She had checked. He was the only white teacher at the school that year. I don't think they're the same person. The chin, nose, and eyes are all wrong. He glanced at his notes. Plus, according to his obituary, he was still teaching at Perkins when James Parker was running all those companies in Colorado. There's no way he could do both. Candace twirled a strand of hair around her finger. Her fancy hairdo for church had lasted less than a day. Do you have the link to the obituary? Maybe he had a son. Brandon reopened the website. Looks like he had a son named Charles Douglas. Okay, so maybe he's James Parker. I guess that's possible, but we don't know if he even knew Siobhan. He could have been 10 years older or younger. Candace reached for the Perkins yearbook, then stopped herself. Charles Douglas wouldn't be listed there either. We should go back to the high school to see if we can find some old Wallace High yearbooks. And maybe we could have Deacon Draper bring the photos there now. If my schedule was right, Milo should be heading to the pool soon. Brandon nodded. I'll call Miss McMillan. After he left the room, Candace opened the yearbook and flipped to the photo of the tennis team. Adam Douglas and Enoch Washington stood in the back behind their players, a black man and a white man side by side. She wondered if they were friends. And that is chapter 19. So tomorrow we'll be reading chapter 20. And that's about it. Peace out.